Feels like for all of us, it's certainly good evening, and it is time. We are not far away from kickoff, depending on when you're watching this. I don't want to timestamp it, but we are on the eve of battle. The team sheets are out, and I thought, let's just go live for this one on a Friday night, because this is probably, definitely my life, the biggest Scotland game ever. A lot of people don't expect us to get much out of this. I've got a feeling we ain't losing it. That's how I'm feeling coming into it. And now the team sheets are out. We had tons of discussion on this on the channel in the preview stream we did on Wednesday, I think it was. And a lot of the questions we had have been answered. And kind of, I don't want to say unsurprising from Steve Clarke. It is a bit of a surprise, but it's very Steve Clarke in that regard as well. Gunn is the goalkeeper. We have a back five. Patterson and Robbo in the wing backs. Tierney comes in to make a back three with Hanley and Hendry. Ferguson, Christie, McGinn and McTominay for that four-man midfield, in and behind Shea Adams. And McGinn, what a picture. What a picture. And don't you just feel this is the best 11 players in the team, point blank, no matter how you want to think of it in terms of building a team in the defence. Doak's not in from the start. I do think we will miss that pace, but clearly it's an option that will be used from the bench. And this is going to be a game of two halves in Steve Clarke's point of view and from Scotland. We're definitely not ruling anything out first half with McGinn and McTominay and Adam. This is the team that qualified, really, isn't it, for a large parts of it? This is the team that's been kind of developing over the last couple of cycles. And, a lot of people are making a lot about the Morocco midfield, and I know they looked great against Brazil, but Brazil didn't look that great. And our guys are pretty good as well, by the way. There's medals round all the necks of the Scotland team, essentially, except for maybe one or two. But, they're all guys that play at a high level. They've won stuff. It's a great team unit, a great team ethic, and not an unfamiliar system from them. The pressure game for us was Haiti. Again, something I've been speaking about quite a lot on the channel, and I hear it coming up in other interviews and podcasts everywhere, from even Steve Clarke talking about this stuff all the way through to all the other pundits and whatnot as well. This is everyone knows we have got no pressure in this game, and our team with no pressure on it is dangerous. And there's maybe not no pressure, it's a different type of pressure. Haiti, imagine they scored first. That's pressure. We don't have anything close. Morocco score first. Who's even going to break a sweat? I think we expect them to score. I don't think they're winning, right? I can see us being 1-1, 2-2. Maybe a miracle could happen and we get something better. I don't want to rule that out at all. A wee cheeky 3-1 or something, But I think we're going to give as good as we get tonight. I don't think it'll be high scoring by any stretch, despite what I just said there. But good, strong team. When it comes to Morocco, very similar. Basically, their best 11 as well. They're getting their best players in all the spots. There's no teacher's pet, random guy you've never heard of before. All these guys are probably the best paid 11 in the Morocco team. All play at the biggest and best clubs on the roster. And generally is the best 11, but maybe sometimes an El Khanous isn't always in the team. Bouadi's a recent addition to the lineup as well. And with Aguerd. And again, this has been so understated in the build up to this, right? But in the lead up to the World Cup, Morocco lost Naif Aguerd, which is their best centre back, their captain centre back type guy. Obviously, Hakimi's the captain, but you get me. And Abdi El Azawi. And Abdi is again head and shoulders. I know Siberia's going to go to Bayern and sit on the bench behind Kane, but Abdi El Azawi is their X factor in a big way. He is a brilliant player and a huge loss for them. Not to diminish anything that's still there. Very strong starting 11. But, I'm hearing everyone going that they're in the top 10 of the world rankings and whatever. But they're missing their best centre-back and they're missing their best winger. And we are pretty good. They're not to be feared is all I'm saying. They're just not to be feared at all. If we take the teams and we put them out on the tactics board, this is how it initially looks to shape out. A bit of a 4-2-3-1 from them, or a 4-3-3, depending on how you want to think of it. But I do think Diaz isn't a wide man. He is quite a narrow type player. You're going to find him in the wide areas, of course. It's similar to El Khanous, but these guys, I can see them trying to own the middle of the ground. Of course, Mazraoui is kind of known as being an attacking right back, but when he's in that left back spot, it's maybe a bit more kind of tucked in. Hakimi is going to be so much width. We spoke about all this in the preview, of course. And we are just pretty well guarded to shut down all of that, really. They're just not going to do well. They're not going to get tight spaces to play in. Siberia will really need to be on it, 'cause he's going to have basically two guys in and around him to deal with. And that's an away guy. I've watched him play enough times. He is good, right? The team is good, Morocco. They have a good team, but I'm still not looking at them thinking, oh yeah, they've got the beating of us, because even in this defence type situation they would expect us to be in, Christie, Ferguson, McTominay and McGinn are just not going to be mugged off here. I don't see any other soul levels above us showing up in the game if we are defending, if they are dominating the ball for different periods of time. The trick is with this is breaking out, is catching them when they've got spaces exposed, when they have maybe tucked everything up a little bit higher. And that's the thing. I thought you really need Doak to play in this team somehow, because I'm not sure Patterson's going to get that away from you. And Robbo has a bit of an engine on him. And if Hakimi is really committed, then that space is probably going to be there for Robbo. But, you look at McTominay, McGinn, Adams has legs, right? But if Adams is the legs, no one's like Doak would be accelerating past him, keeping up with him to that same extent, particularly first half I'm talking here, where everyone's quite fresh and those recovery runs are still probably quite vigorous, and there's not any real easy balls in that regard. The goalkeeper's good, right? But not great, again. So I've got Gordon here for some reason. I don't know how that happened. Easter egg for anyone that caught it. So I'm still relatively optimistic. I think now this is very much a game of two halves, where I think the plan is clearly, I think if you're Steve Clarke, worst case scenario, we want 0-0 at half time. Best case scenario, we've nicked one somehow, whether they've overcommitted like we spoke about there, or it might even be in central areas, because if this Buadi wants to go on a run, Unai is going to be not too far off Siberia as a second forward. These guys are tucking in. There will be spaces for dangerous players to get into, and they don't all need to be sprinters to, make those spaces hurt Morocco. So, if they get comfortable and they really stretch, like we are good, all of our players, man for man, there's nothing really to be said about any of them. Robbo, of course, none of them need any introduction. They're all doing pretty well. Patterson's maybe the main one you're looking at, because he's just not a regular first team player for his club. Hanley, I know, is not everyone's cup of tea, as is Jack Hendry, but equally individually, I think you can see what they bring to the party. And in international football, they're definitely workable, So I'm not too worried. I think where maybe a bit of my worry would come is if Morocco, spells of the game, maybe if we get caught out, because we've not got pace in the attack, and space is just one of those ones where space and pace, it's just undefendable at times, and I gave Ferguson huge credit in the first game. His job is going to be pretty vital here, because we know Robbo, like the first game and like he does regularly, is going to be the wide option, is going to be the winger. We're going to very much see him and Hakimi be a bit of a head-to-head clash here. But we do have the ability to cheat with this. And Patterson, as we spoke about his, maybe the lack of ability for him to exit, we might not really be looking for him to exit, and if we have Tierney coming in as a de facto left back behind Robbo, it gives us a side of the pitch to want to focus on, which could coincidentally is going to be the side of the pitch they probably want to be on as well, with Captain Hakimi, world-class player, best right back in the world, down this side of the pitch with Real Madrid's Brahim Diaz. So it's going to be a huge, and this was something we spoke about in the preview, where if this is where Steve Clarke thinks the battle's going to be won and lost, then he's going to play Tierney and go a back five, and it's just going to be, we're going to fight on this wing. We are going to go toe to toe, man for man with you. And when you sprinkle in McGinn and Adams in here, then you've got McTominay maybe acting as the striker in that case. We have weapons, we can hurt them. That's all I'm trying to say here. We can hurt them. There's going to be lots of different options in this game for Scotland, and the bench now has a lot more options to it. If you were to start a similar lineup, I don't think it'd have been 4-4-2, but maybe even Doak was to start the game, then the options from the bench are more restrictive. You're kind of winding the team down a wee bit. In some cases, maybe I'm selling the team short a little bit. The subs did make a big difference in the last game. But, Doak off the bench makes a big difference. He's not shy of putting Curtis on, who's got legs also. And then we actually have a lot of striker options, which is a kind of weird situation to be. And then maybe Hickey from the bench is something he's thinking about second half. Or maybe Hickey might need to play, is Robbo going to clock 90? Is Tierney going to clock 90? Is there going to be a back five the whole way through the game? there might be some other things for the manager to juggle and consider. Yeah, so the second half, like I say, this will be very much a game of two halves. I think the first half, if it doesn't quite totally go our way, I don't think anything's won and lost or anything, because we still have the ability to go up a gear. And as we've seen with this World Cup and with this squad so far, it's not over till it's over, all the way to the end. Whereas Morocco, again, I don't think that graphic had their bench on it, but I don't think their bench isn't. Let's go and find a graphic we can peek at their bench. We also know everyone that's in their squad, but let's have a nosy at the bench. Anyone jump off? Amrabat, who the last World Cup was the hype guy that was going to save Man United. Whatever happened to him? How did that work out? I hear you shout. And then Talbot, who played against Celtic for Bruges, is now at Sunderland, doing quite well in the Prem. But yeah, our bench has got a bigger stretch of options, I would say. Maybe I'm a bit ignorant to one or two of them. El Kabi regularly starts for Morocco. Obviously, he's been doing pretty well at Olympiacos. But some of these guys play in the far-flung reaches of world football, so not really familiar with all of them, if I'm honest. But I don't think we're losing this. That's where I'm at. Now, before these games, I love to do a score prediction. I love to do a man of the match shout. Who's going to be the headline maker? Who's going to be the man that makes a difference? And I'm going to stick with a draw. I think we get, and I don't think it, I'm going to go with 2-2, right? I'm going to say this as a game of two, a real game of two halves. And yeah, don't know how that actually shakes out. Is it a fight back situation? Is it a game of one each in both halves? I don't know, but I think it's going to be a draw, and I think there's more than one goal in a team here. I think we could probably get more than one. I think they're probably going to get more than one. So I'm going to go with 2-2 draw. In terms of headline maker, who could be man of the match or anything like that, it is really going to be down to goal scorers. I think even second half, if Doak imagine it's like a tight situation in the second half, maybe we're behind, and then Doak comes on off the bench, and maybe with a bit of a change of 5 at the back to 4 at the back, that kind of move, and it just totally changes the game, flips it on its head. I could see something like that happen. But from the starters, McGinn scored in the first game. I think this feels like a McTominay match if I'm looking at the starters and thinking about who could be the match winner. But again, as I'm scanning across the squad, Chrissy didn't start the first game, and see with how high everyone's been on this Buadi from the first game against Brazil. See if Christie was to run him, or Ferguson, whoever is going to be really confronted with this kid, if they're to absolutely pocket him and run the game off him, then you could see one of the engine room players, Ferguson or Christie, really being the hero of the day. So they're a very good side, Perry. Very good side. But I think this is going to be a very well contested match. Very well contested. I'm going to go with 2-2. And yeah, take your pick. Whoever it is, let's just go with Christie, since he didn't start the first game. Ferguson has had his big match, I think, against Haiti. Going to need another one of them, but maybe Christie's the one that maybe gives us that mobility. Again, Steve Clark regularly has played Christie in these kind of false kind of wing positions as well. So if Christie was the one breaking up the pitch, wouldn't surprise me. Has the legs to pull it off, actually. And if he was like turning defence into attack, then Christie could easily be the kind of, wow, look at that performance from him today. So I'm going to go with Christie. I'm going to go with 2-2. I think McTominay is going to get on the score sheet here. And I think it could be like a 10/10 minutes or a mad second half from the bench, something like that. But I'm going to go 2-2. It'll be a great result, and we'll go sailing off into the sunset into the last match against Brazil. Tomorrow, we'll have a breakdown of the match here on the channel. We did a breakdown of the Haiti match. We look at the match highlights, the player ratings, as well as talk on the tactics board of what we've seen, pros, cons, good, bad, and all the rest of it. If you're new around here, please do hit subscribe for more content like this here on the channel. Wherever you're watching the game, I hope we all have a great time as well, of course. Don't forget to jump into the comment section and leave your receipts on the internet. What is the score prediction? Who's your man of the match shout? And the live chat's open while we're live, but once the live is ended, the comment section opens. So if you've been here live and loud, drop some comments on your way out, get your receipts on the internet, and I'll catch you all back here for the breakdown. One of Scotland.